The old turbo got a lot of love in there, Dan, in our review.
It certainly did, didn't it?
You seem to have found a little friend to compare it up against.
I have. Taylormade M6.
Yeah, I think this is fair.
Yeah.
Two very different price points.
Very different price points, yeah.
Two clubs boasting speed and different face ideas and distance like all driver companies do. Should we do a good old-fashioned compare? It's raining and a little cold, so we are indoors.
Indoors.
We will try and get most of our compares and stuff outdoors when possible, but it's the winter now.
It is in the UK.
So we might be indoors a little bit more. Have you got any preference going into this test?
Not really, to be honest. Different preferences in different areas, and we could talk through that as we go, but no, not really. I think there's pretty much a level playing field to start with.
Cool, let's get testing. Right, guys and girls, thanks for watching. If you want to see more compares, let us know in that comment section down below what you would like us to compare against. Any of these or other drivers, we can do it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, maybe hit the subscribe button. We've got loads of free golf videos going up daily, and also if you're already subscribed, ring that bell. Let's see how this test goes. Looks to start, Dan. Where is your preference in the looking area of these two clubs? So we've got quite dramatic lines on the top of the Cleveland. You get the lovely looking carbon and what have you on the Taylormade. Where are you with looks?
I think I'm going to go Cleveland for this.
Really?
Yeah, I am, and the reason being is when I set them up, the Taylormade, for some reason, it always wants to sit open.
It sits wide open, doesn't it?
Yeah, and this is not too bad at the moment, but that is still open to my eye, so I'm having to adjust that all the time. Whereas as soon as I put the Cleveland down, it just sits how I want it to sit. Visually, other than that, to be honest with you, there's so much going on both of them that I can't say yes or no about either of them, if that makes sense. But purely because of that situation, I'm going to go that the Cleveland just sits better for me.
Yeah. So that's where the Taylormade, look, if you go level with the Taylormade sits for me.
Yeah.
And obviously if your hand position changes, that really changes, it gets lower and lower. So I have to really turn that in. So I would agree with you, I don't like the way the Taylormade sits. Out of two, I would have to say the Taylormade M6 looks a little better. Okay. I like the red, the silver, the black carbon. Not saying I don't like the highball, because I do. I like the Cleveland launcher as well. I like the pingness and the lines. I really like the way these lines frame up for like club path and aiming. So it's really, really close. I would say if you were to do a poll, this one wins. We'll do a poll up here in this poll. Which one do you think looks better, the Cleveland or the Taylormade? Fill that poll out, let me know. I reckon the Taylormade wins. I reckon if I'm playing them, this one is close to winning for me because of the lines. Yeah. I think this is prettier as a piece of art, as a thing that sits on a shop floor and just looks nicer. But they're close, they're both good looking drivers. Let's talk tech then. So we got some adjustability on this one in the neck.
Well, this is, I mean, you're going to be able to move the neck around on this one, so I can move the loft up and down, I can move the lie around on the Taylormade, so that's a real positive. On the Cleveland, we haven't got that. So
no, it's a fixed neck.
It's a fixed neck, and if you think about the other bits that Cleveland talk about, which is obviously to save weight in the hosel of the club, you know, why would you add screws into that? As soon as you put a screw in there, you're starting to add weight, so they're going to have to move weight around in order to accommodate for that. So they've got a fixed set position, which is a bit of a negative from that compared to that.
So this wins if you're a changeable person.
Yes.
Both have got light necks, but this wins because it hasn't got a screw in. So that's quite even depending on what you want. Yeah. Making this lighter obviously allows them to then do this stretched out back, low centre of gravity, which they're kind of both boasting, aren't they?
Yeah, they're both getting that sort of look, I suppose, if you look down there, trying to push that weight as far back and as low as they possibly can, trying to move that CG further back in the club to give you, I suppose, a bit more forgiveness from that point of view. Yeah. But
face, what about face technology? Obviously Taylormade shouts more about its face. It's got twist face, and then it's got the injection
correct.
face.
So what Taylormade is saying is that they take it to the almost beyond the legal limit of what this face can get to. Yeah. And then they inject like a resin in there to then bring it back to that legal limit.
So in effect, this driver's completed unless they make it go faster, because the face is at COR limits, I guess.
I mean, if you looked at that information that we've taken there, you'd say that the face is done.
Okay.
They're not going to do anything more with the face.
And then this has a variable face thickness. What does that say on there?
So that's turbocharged cup face.
Yeah, so this one has a variable face, which in there saying increases the miss hit speed. So when you move away from the sweet spot, you still are keeping up ball speeds.
Yeah.
Both armed with tech. Let's see what happens when you hit them.
Yeah.
Right, high ball, Cleveland to start. Let's see what we get out of this. So we're going to go how many fairways can you hit as well as distance, because you're actually trying to hit a fairway on this monitor. Oh, he's over the corner. We're going to hit the sand. We will use carry distance because obviously that will affect rollout.
Yeah.
It has to be said, the sound on the Cleveland is aggressive.
It is very aggressive, and I think that has to, like, I would be just like making a decision when I'm buying a driver with acoustics as well. I think that's quite an important part.
Yeah, I do think that this driver will put as many people off as it will turn them on in that sound, and then you'll have your neutrals that don't care.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
Get up, Dan.
I'm trying to go over that tree.
So how do you feel, you know, what does it feel like? Obviously it's loud, that must then in turn make it feel like it's powerful, does it? I mean,
no, not really. I would say it's almost like, because it's so loud, my senses of the feel of the face are poorer.
Yeah,
so I'm struggling to really, I can feel where I'm hitting it on the face, so there I can feel that was a bit toeier than the others, but it's almost like dulling down my senses to where I'm feeling it off the face.
Okay.
That felt good, that was a good hit.
I mean, we tried this the other day and you got proper good numbers out of it, didn't you?
I mean, that's a good hit there for me.
Absolutely. Right, some decent hits to compare there.
Yeah.
Shall we move on over to the Taylormade, see what you get out of that?
Yes.
So again, looking at it down by the ball.
Yeah.
Straight after the Cleveland, any difference in opinion, or you're back where you were?
Still feeling that I like the look of that one more than this one, and I think that one as well, the Cleveland, I think is just, I don't know if it's those, like you said before about those, like the ridges on the back, they kind of help frame it up.
Totally do.
So I really feel like I'm really feeling like I can line that up to wherever I want to go, if that makes sense. Whereas this
I see him for swing direction as well.
Yeah.
Ping released the club once, never again, which had 2 stripes on it. I used it when I played at Sawgrass. Yeah, it had racing stripes on it.
Oh, wow.
2 lines here, and I loved it. I loved the way it made me visualise direction of path.
Definitely getting that with that driver over this one. This one I'm now moving around. You can see me twisting it a little bit.
And then for direction, the last driver, how much of its design do you feel was helping you hit or miss that fairway? Because obviously a lot of the selling preference of this club is talking about trying to help you hit it straighter. Twist face is trying to help you hit it straighter, in theory, hit more fairways. Does the other one, I mean, we'll compare it at the end, but does the Cleveland, did it feel like you were going to miss fairways because it hasn't got anything on it, or did it feel more, again, like it's you? What do you think?
No, it's purely me.
Okay.
Like that, I don't feel like there's anything on that head there with my strikes that's kind of helped what I've done. They've done, where I've hit them on the face, the ball has done what I thought it would do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very different sound, isn't it? It's like noticeably different. Okay, again, we'll use carry, so don't worry about the rollouts of it hitting the sand or the bunker, or if he does it one in the water, don't like to talk about it. So after that, which sound are you preferring? I presume
straight away that.
Yeah.
I'm getting a sense of where I'm striking it a lot more. As soon as it comes off the bat, I can tell, again, more from the sound, but I've got my senses back to where I'm striking it across the face a bit more, and I can tell instantly whether I've hit a good shot or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So we've gone into the pits, haven't we? We had to have a little tinker.
We've had to have a little tweak.
So we warm up in all these tests and make sure we're getting the similar numbers, and we were getting the same numbers, but we've now had to make this go down to an 8.5 loft.
Yeah, so that one's set at 9, which is what it's set at.
Yeah.
And this one, I've just moved it to now 8.5.
Okay.
because I was just...
We just weren't going as far. It was spinning about 600 revs more. We'll show you on the numbers, and it was going 11 yards shorter, which isn't, well,
it's not reality. Yeah.
I think it's a really good message, because I see the most changes when people buy clubs and they go, my club 20 yards further, 15 yards further, whatever.
Yeah.
I always think, yeah, but it's because the other one wasn't right for you. Not that the new one's longer.
Correct.
Like, I mean, you're going to find now. Well, it'll be interesting to see if this goes at 10 yards further, which it's got the potential to.
Yeah.
The club is exactly the same. We've just gone from a loft we thought was there when we were warming up and you were getting similar numbers, to now when you're warming it, it's just going too high.
The benefit here again is we're able to adjust this.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been able to do that with that club there.
True, but if you are
heads,
buying that club, if you're buying the Cleveland club and they've only got one head to demo, they haven't got 3 lofts or 4 lefts to demo, go and demo somewhere else. Do you not think? That's not, but that's just poor fitting.
The only time I've had to adjust to this, I've just like hooked it, because I've tried to hit it more into the toe and I've just then overturned it. So
you're actually saying this one at the minute you're struggling to find where neutral is?
I'm struggling to strike it. Like normally I don't have an issue moving strike across face. Like
you don't have an issue in driving.
No.
Bro.
So like my strike pattern with this so far has all been heely. So I tried to move it to toey, and I then overturned it because it was then too toey.
Right, numbers time. How have you hit that one? I can't give you any more goes, Danny boy.
I do apologise for the time this has taken.
This is like math testing.
Top.
Right, Danny boy, numbers time. What we got?
Right, should we start off Cleveland to get us going with?
Go on.
Hang on a minute, let's come back out of there. Cleveland to get us going with, let's go with carry, okay? 268 carry with the Cleveland. Okay. Spinning it at 2468, so 2,468 revs.
Good numbers.
Good numbers. Ball speed 154, 155 in the ball speed, so that's very good. If we come down to the Taylormade, now bearing in mind I've taken out the first 5 shots because that was when we then changed the setting of the actual club itself. So we de-lofted the club to try and get it to perform launch a bit lower because it was just launching too high.
Yeah.
We're now carrying the Taylormade 260, so 8 yards shorter than what I'm getting from the Cleveland. You can see the spin on it is 2976, so I'm spinning it, what, 500 revs more than what I'm spinning the Cleveland. And you can see there, that especially that one there at 3,300 revs, the other 3 around between 2.7 and 2.9. So just struggling to get the spin off that driver. Yeah. Ball speed off the face, 1 mile an hour quicker, but launching about the same now. So they're pretty much performing the same from what I'm getting from them. However, just revving that Taylormade too much, which is where I'm starting to lose that yardage.
So what's the dynamic loft of those two clubs delivered? So delivered loft.
Yeah, so 21.1 degrees in loft with the Cleveland compared to 21.3 degrees in loft with the Taylormade.
So the same.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
Ball speeds?
Ball speeds, yeah, 154.6 with the Cleveland compared to 155.5. So again, very much the same. Club head speed, I'm actually 109 mile an hour with the Taylormade and 108 mile an hour, so just less than 1 mile an hour difference in my club head speed with them.
So a few questions then that we could throw at this, okay? You need to work a little harder on M6, like finding the exact number. So can you find X amount of spin difference in going in a different shaft? So you could go a heavier one, yeah, would create different amounts of spins. Even to a lighter one could create different amounts of spins because you might swing it faster and then that increases spin, and then you might make it heavier, which decreases it, and then you lose a bit of spin, but you might lose distance. And then you might have to go even lower in loft on this. So you might have to accept this has to launch lower than this to then get the spin. So I reckon if you were dead set on M6, like your heart was just set on it, you could find an M6 that does match that. Possibly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you possibly could, with a bit of work.
You would just have to really... I mean, the thing that kind of upsets me a little bit is how hard you have to work at this club to find certain numbers, because the thing I found when I've tested this over the time I've tested it, and I noticed this, is that I just get such variable numbers out of this one, which is kind of what we saw from you, because when we first tested, you were getting pretty similar numbers, and then it started to spin more because your delivery is changing, and it was noticeable as we hit that you were definitely searching for strike on this one, where this one you didn't have to search. So there's a part of me that feels like on M6, in an effort to make it easier, possibly they've made it harder. I know for a fact, in my opinion, because we have to do that, unfortunately, other very big certain names have really gone on big searches with this club in whatever model they use out of to find similar to what you were finding there, not to want to. Does that make any sense what I'm saying there? But they didn't just put it down and did it and it was fine. It took quite a few months of them going no, and like, no. And that to me worries me. Because you're not buying this club today. So
I'm not from the performance.
No, but as in, but you're not having to find the one that's absolute, like you would. Most people buying a club haven't got 5 custom fit sessions until they find it. Where this one, I mean, maybe post comments down below. What do you make of it? You put that down in a loft that you know gives your numbers in its stock shaft, and you got what you expect out of it. This one we had 3 goes at it, and it was variable.
Yeah. For me, just from this experiment alone, I have to take the Cleveland. I love the feel of the face of what the Taylormade offers me. But I have to go with what the performance of the driver is, and then in turn, kind of how it looks. The only one thing that jumps out to me with the Cleveland is just the noise. If we could dull that noise down a fraction and get it sounding a little bit more like what the Taylormade offers, then that's a winner for me.
So we can do another video where they look at my numbers if they want, but I've got as good a numbers out of this as any club I've ever tested. I just have to work harder, and then it varies each day, and that worries me a little bit. If I was choosing between these 2 clubs, I wouldn't be able to choose. I think they're both really good. I think what you would do is you would be budget. So where some people will be excited the fact that this is loads cheaper, there'll be some who are not. Some want them more expensive, so that works either way, subject to whichever way you want to feel that you spend your money on your leisure activity. The fact that I have to work so hard at this one would upset me, but I would have the time and dedication if I was buying a new driver as a serious golfer to just work that out. It's interesting. I think they're really close. I just think the simplicity of that will like work for people. The complexity of this, and it shouldn't be complex, might just work against it a little bit. Maybe post comments down below. Which one would you go for and why in that comment section? Definitely this sells, in my opinion, of what I see of numbers of clubs selling loads more than that. And maybe that is to do with, you know, like with every company, how much you spend on advertising and things, because performance of that, I mean, I don't see anything beating that at the moment. Anything. Let us know down there.